So the other bit is when you do have bad debts, we're coming through a recession, but even in good times, there are still some bad debts. So what do you do to minimize bad debts and slow payment? Credit ratings. That's not just checking the credit rating of your customers, that's checking the credit rating of your prospects. Before you go and see somebody, find out if they can afford to pay you. It's no good wasting your time going to see somebody who won't pay you. So if a new customer or a new prospect calls you, wants to deal with a new supplier, check out, are they coming to you? Are they taking a risk with the new supplier? Because they've exhausted all their other credit from their current suppliers. So you can check credit ratings, you can take up credit references, things like that, personal references, sorry, individual references, just as you would for a new employee. Because it's no good going to all the trouble of winning a customer who's not going to pay you. I'm going the wrong way again, sorry. This mouse is counterintuitive. One of those, to me it's obvious, when you've done the work, you invoice straight away. I was talking to some commercial solicitors who we were talking about, when they're taking legal action to recover bad debts. The number of times people turn up on their doorstep and say, so-and-so hasn't paid me. Well, show me a copy of the invoice. Oh, we haven't raised an invoice. Apparently, there are business people who do not raise invoices. But apart from that, my printer comes in once a quarter with our lovely newsletters, looking all glossy, very professional, and she's a lovely lady, and she's produced this lovely work for us, and I'm really happy at that point in time. But the invoice doesn't turn up for another month. It turns up in an envelope with all the other post on my desk. Now, I do try to pay the same day just because it cuts my admin out. But if you're part of a system, you've lost any momentum you might have then for people. It's the same as, following on your sales, go on the back of the momentum. Yeah, invoice when the client is the happiest, when they've got their shiny new toy, whatever it is that's made them happy. Invoice then, make sure everything's okay. The first up. The other bit, terms and conditions. The number of people who don't say when the invoice is due. Now, I tell my clients you should have proper terms and conditions. There should be a contract of sale. At the very minimum, your terms and conditions should be on the back of your sales invoice. But so many people don't have that. If you haven't agreed when they're going to pay, how do they know when to pay? Yep, when you ring them up eventually. So do put your terms and conditions on, put your bank details on your invoice, make it easy for them. Have as many different ways they can pay you as convenient. The other thing is, if you've got somebody if your customer has got their own terms and conditions for their purchase and when they're going to pay, agree it up front. It's all part of the sales negotiation. Just as you negotiate the price, you negotiate the payment terms. If your standard days are 30 days, there's a 60, perhaps you can compromise on 45. It's all part of that negotiation, but then you will know when you are expecting that payment. You can plan. You know what you can do. So when you've delivered your goods or your services, a courtesy call. Now, it doesn't really work if you're selling, pound a time widgets. But if you're selling bigger products, take the time, ring up, courtesy call. Everything okay? Oh, well, the software works well, but there's no documentation. Email it over, it's dealt with. Are you happy? Yes. Can you tell us when we'll be paid? With a product, did it get damaged in transit, or it isn't quite what they want? You can sort it before that invoice is due for payment. So it's all sorted in plenty of time. Any problems are dealt with. Yes, it's great customer service. It's also good for your cash flow. On the day that invoice is due, if the money hasn't come in, you call them straight away. Polite call. Did you receive the invoice? Did your check run go okay? Any problems, whatever? I usually pay things, as I say, when they come across my desk, cuts down on my admin. So if I haven't paid by a due date, I've probably filed it without paying it. Do ring me. Call me. People dread that debt collection phone call. Often it's just an admin thing. So deal with it nice and polite. There's nothing controversial at that stage. They'll say, oh, sorry, forgot to pay it. I'll pay it today. Or I'll pay it tomorrow when I'm back in the office. So whenever they've said they'll pay it, or 7 days, depending on the result of your conversation, this is the first point at which you'd consider stopping providing goods or services to that customer. Now, it's probably an administrative error. You're unlikely to stop providing at that point, but consider it from now onwards. So when it doesn't come in on the promised date, chase again. And this is when you're starting to get a bit more serious. You've had a personal promise of when it was due in. You may need to start resorting to more formal letters. All your debt collection should be documented, even a telephone call, who you spoke to, what they said, just in case you need to take it further on to legal action. Now we've got a series of fairly standard debt collection letters that we can provide for our clients, because it's hard knowing what to write and when to send them. So we come up with those for our clients. So that's part of minimising those bad debts. A lot of it is just admin, just customer service, making sure people are happy, making sure that their system's working as it should.